PlayStation. You want to talk about you had me in the first half? Holy smokes. I was gassing your shit up, man. I was like, yo, they're back. First time since September 2021. They have to have stuff to show. I can't believe walking out of the showcase, I not only saw very little gameplay, very little release dates, but I barely have a clue about the outlook of PlayStation's enormous and growing first party. You want to talk about a missed opportunity? This is it. And Phil Spencer's probably spamming the Xbox Slack right now saying, let's fucking go. Man, Xbox is actually in a really good position all of a sudden to start to take over the mind share, because that's an interesting word. Leading into this showcase, a lot of the talk was PlayStation taking over the mind share, go hard, get all of the attention. Well, they got it, but probably not in the best way. Now, was it a putrid showcase? No, but when you think of the anticipation, the build-up, the oh my God, they're doing this, and what we got afterwards, that's what leads to the disappointment. Truthfully, in this showcase, there are some really good things. For me, 3 really good things. But I was, again, shocked as I'm gonna go through and break it all down for you all. We barely even got release windows at times, and whenever we did, we were not getting hard dates. There are, let's see here, I'm gonna check my list. There are 3 hard dates we got in that whole showcase, and you're about to see how many games there were. So ladies and gentlemen, let's not delay any further. Let's get into this. They started off with Fair Games. This is from Haven. This is the Jade Raymond team. They're working on what seems to be a service game, and that was at least the report. They seem to be working on some type of multiplayer game. You know, PlayStation is heading more in the live service direction, and this gave me a queasy feeling when they opened it with this and then cut to Jim Ryan. Usually when you have that big game, then executive cut, that typically means that's and we're just getting started, folks. I was like, okay, like, all right, we're just getting out of the way, right? No, tone set indeed. After this was a great surprise, Helldivers 2. Now, the first Helldivers was a top-down twin-stick shooter, very high difficulty as well, but it was a ton of fun. I loved this game. To see it get a sequel, and not only that, but it's like a third-person shooter now, really impressive transition. I can't wait to see more on this. This was one of the pleasant surprise and one of the few with actual gameplay. It's coming this year, no hard release date yet, but this is one that you should keep your eye on. The first game was excellent and very, very good co-op fun, and I feel like Helldivers 2 should just set up to be more of that. But the way they evolved, the camera, the production values, and even some of the humor in the trailer, good job. Really like this one. After this, we got another trailer for Immortals of Avium, which you may go, well, wait, that's a release date, Matty. We already had a date for this game. It's coming July 20th. This one looks awesome. It's shocking. It's an EA Originals game. I should disclose, I've done a couple of sponsored posts for them, but I don't even work with EA on that stuff. So to me, I don't think it jeopardizes anything, but just so you're aware. But for me, what's really impressed me with the EA Originals program is the way that they've actually reinvented it. You know, you look at things like It Takes Two, and it was that style of game for a while. There was that game with the yarn dude, you know what I'm talking about. And then we're suddenly getting Wild Hearts. Now we're getting Immortals of Avium. So I like how they've upped the production value there. This looks great, Magic first-person shooter, but it's not new. We've already seen it. Ghost Runner 2, I haven't played the first one, but Ghost Runner 2 is here, and this one looks solid, you know, more of what we got before, but didn't really blow off my socks. So at this point, you gotta remember, we're a few games deep and we're yet to see that, oh, nice, here we go, type of trailer. And maybe Fair Games was supposed to be that, but it definitely didn't land that way. So then we get it. Phantom Blade. This game looks incredible. The deflecting, the ninja flips, the samurai action, the high stakes. I mean, this game looks friggin' incredible. It is one of those gameplay presentations that, and I haven't had this in a while, I saw and went, there's no way that's gameplay. If it is, that's a game changer. Unfortunately, nothing in the terms of a release date, but this game looks fantastic. And if it can deliver even a fraction of what we saw in the gameplay there, we are going to be eating good. Completely out of nowhere, but I am very invested in this one. My weeb ass is all over it, but I mean, seriously, just from the combat in this game, where he does a stab and a kick at the same time diagonally, like that type of countering, we've just never seen in games. Like we've seen the more one-on-one Arkham style, but this dude's countering all over the place and doing flips over blades. I mean, if it can do this, which I'm struggling to believe it will, but if it can do this, bruh, that game is going to be something else, and it's going to grab a lot of people's attention. After this, we got Sword of the Sea, which looked pretty solid. We also got the Talos Principle 2, which is coming out this year, apparently. Another one where what you'll notice throughout this, I don't mean to skip over something like Sword of the Sea or Talos Principle 2. I'm not trying to rush through them, but genuinely speaking, we have a trailer problem in our industry, and I gotta just speak on it for a moment. Look, I know a lot of folks are just focused on making the best game you can, but we gotta start finding people who can sell the game properly on what it is. What will the player be doing? Because there are games like Talos Principle 2 where I think I can give that one a little bit of leeway because it is a sequel, so you kind of think of the first one and go, okay, it's more of that, and what else in the second one. But my point being is there's a scary amount of trailers in this showcase that just never depict what the game is. It's just kind of title cards. And it stings because it's a showcase pretty much full of that, where I just have no indication of what it's going to be. It's just an announcement. And there's a lot of that. So I don't mean to speed through some of these. It's not because I don't want to talk about them. It's because we have a real big problem here. There are a lot of games here that I saw and went, that exists. Oh, and that's it. That's the trailer. Okay. And then we move on. After that, though, we got a game called Neva, N-E-V-A, or Neva, not sure, but coming out in 2024. This game looks so sad, dude. I was actually like slightly welling up during my stream because I was thinking like, man, if you want to get to Matty's heart, animals. If I did not work in video games, I would be working with animals, and I'd be sobbing every day because I have such a bleeding heart for them. And this game just looks so emotional. It really captured the bond that humans have with animals well, just the head-to-head stuff. I do that with my own dog, so I was just like thinking of Revan while watching this. Not Star Wars Revan, but like my dog Revan, which I dress for the occasion foolishly. But yeah, man, this game looks really good. After that, Cat Quest had a brief appearance with Pirates of the Caribbean. Love that name. This is coming out 2024. This game looks great. Then Square Enix shows up. Now, when you see Square Enix in PlayStation, the first thought we would have had for this showcase is like, okay, we're gonna get more of the Final Fantasy VII Remake Rebirth thing, right? The sequel, the remake, right? No, you're gonna get foam stars, baby. So Square Enix looked at Splatoon over on the Switch and said, yo, hey, can we do that? Can we get away with that? Can we do that with Bubble Bath though, right? We're gonna do it in a Bubble Bath, and there you go, there's foam stars. I mean, this one got a laugh out of me. I don't want to judge it too hard. I was never crazy into Splatoon in the first place, so I don't want to sound too douchey here, but yeah, this one did not light my fire at all, to say the least. Then we get the Plucky Squire, which definitely lights Matty's fire. Coming in this year, this game has that 2D, 3D vibe that Mario Odyssey did, but this one, it looks like it has some RPG sensibilities as well. So I really was into what they had here. I really appreciated that 2D art, and then switching to 3D and the game played differently. This looks like the type of indie game that we can all get behind. So the Plucky Squire looks excellent. Teardown is one we've heard about for a while. It's coming to PS5 soon this year. But this one I believe we've seen on PC for a while, but it still looks like a great time, and it's a great get for PlayStation. So I feel like this is a good point to draw the halfway mark. Think about everything I've just told you, and we're about halfway through at this point. And it's starting to feel a little dire. It's like, okay, clock's a ticking, not seeing much first party here. We saw a Fire Ninja game. We saw the Plucky Squire, and I'm checking my list here. That was Neva, and that was really it. And I'm sitting there going, okay, we need some heat. And so Konami steps up. Metal Gear Solid Snake Eater Remake, along with the Metal Gear Solid Master Collection. The Master Collection is coming this autumn, so you can look out for that. But Metal Gear Solid Snake Eater Remake, heavily leaked, probably would have been a huge deal. This is where the leaks really hurt PlayStation, and I have to defend them a little bit because this is an enormous announcement. Make no mistake, this is some people's favorite game of all time. By the way, just dropped a video over on Retro Rebound if you want to go check that out. This is a seismic announcement, though. It's Konami splashing back into real AAA game development. After playing Snake Eater for that Retro Rebound video, yeah, it could use it. I already said that in a separate video, so I won't be redundant. But yeah, this is a big deal. And this probably would have been one of those, and they kind of pulled a little twist on you when it started off with animals and amphibians dying and stuff. I was thinking, what is this survival game? And then, funny enough, MGS3 kind of does have survival mechanics, so it fits. And then you see Snake come out from under the water, and it's like, ah, okay, there it is. So, great trailer, no date, no window, which I guess is to be expected when you think about it. But yeah, man, this one you want to get excited for because, of course, the nature of it. It's like me with KOTOR Remake, right? Like, I get it. People are out over the moon about it. For me, I love MGS2. MGS3, I also really like, but I'm not in love with Metal Gear. So it was like I get why this is important to people, and I want to play this, and I'm going to play this, but this isn't the one that's going to get me up out of my seat. So major announcement for sure. The Master Collection is also a welcome sight, though no MGS4. Like, what's going on here, man? Like, you know, this is the game that's just stranded on PS3 forever now, I guess. I hope PlayStation figures out something with back compat, because that's the conclusion of your series, y'all. And it's just bacon over there on the cell processing of the PS3. So Master Collection coming around. Makes sense, you know, Konami takes down the old remaster collection, has to renew the licenses. Now you get MGS 1, 2, 3, all in one collection. And no doubt that's a Retro Rebound video in the making. After that, we see Towers of Agaspa, which looked interesting, and it's coming out in 2024. Then we get a good look at Final Fantasy 16. I kind of had to avert my eyes, but I just couldn't. I'm trying to go on media blackout for this game because they're showing so much of it now. And I know it's a big game, but I just don't want to know anything. I was sold trailer 1, view of the combat 1, view of the summons 1. Like, that's all I needed. And they've just continued to show more and more and more previews and all that stuff. This is going to be a huge game, no doubt. But great get by PlayStation, by the way. It looks amazing. We've already known for a while. It's locked in for June 22nd. This was like your last reminder. Hey, it's on the way. We're just under a month away from it. So get ready. It's coming. Get your pre-orders in. But then we get a nice kind of surprise if you're not paying attention to leaks and rumors. Alan Wake 2 looks fantastic. Really, really good. The reason why it may not be a surprise is the voice actor for Alan Wake kind of spoiled that Alan Wake 2 is coming October. But now we actually have a release date. So again, think of everything I've gone through. And according to my list here, this is the first hard release date that we get. Think about that. That's how deep we are into the showcase, and we just got release date 1. And I know we got release window, so I'm not trying to straw man y'all, but seriously, think about it. A lot of games, very little dates. Alan Wake 2 is coming October 17th, 2023. Really love what they're doing with this one. It looks genuinely creepy. To me, I'm an easy target for survival horror anything. I get scared easily, but Alan Wake 1 was one of the few I powered through with really no issue. Whereas Dead Space, I was terrified, but I still powered through because I love that game so much. But Alan Wake 2 looks really scary. It seems like we have multiple playable characters too, and it's just a good reminder, like, it's time to replay Alan Wake 1 and see what's cooking, y'all, because I gotta remind myself of a lot of things. I played this game once and then that was it. And then I gotta play Control finally, because Control apparently ties into the Alan Wake universe. But yeah, this game looks wonderful. Afterwards, surprise, surprise, another release date. So this is where hope starts to get restored. We're thinking, okay, we got back-to-back release dates in Alan Wake 2 and Assassin's Creed Mirage. Assassin's Creed Mirage is coming October 12th of this year. So 1 week you're getting Assassin's Creed Mirage, the next week you're getting Alan Wake 2. That's pretty good in my opinion. Assassin's Creed Mirage looks solid. I'm very optimistic, just given the fact that it's a more tightly focused Ubisoft game. And anything they've done where they've tightened up has been great. Specifically, I think of the Mario and Rabbids series. I know it's far away from what's going on with things like Far Cry and Assassin's Creed, but when they tighten up for like the Assassin's Creed expansions even, they're much better. And Mirage looks great. It looks like a return to the old, like you even see him blending in the crowd at one point. He's like sitting on some type of bench and blending in. Like, that's what we've been looking for a while. I think a lot of people were very tired of where Assassin's Creed was going by Valhalla, which is a game I still loved, but I totally get what people were feeling, and I'm there with you at this point now. Like, I'm ready for more OG Assassin vibe here. So we got that. So back-to-back release dates are feeling pretty good. And then the trailer issue rises up again, where I'm like, what is this game? And that's Revenant Hill. Genuinely speaking, like many in this video, I couldn't tell you a thing about this game. I don't know what it is. I would love to talk about it. I would love to broadcast some indies, put them on my platform, give them some attention, give them some rub, introduce you to new games, but I got nothing for you. No date, no nothing, no mechanics, nothing. This is where I started realizing, I'm like, we got a problem here. Then we see Grand Blue Fantasy Relink coming winter of this year, so a little bit more of a specific window. We'll take that type of stuff. Winter this year, and I've played Grand Blue Fantasy Versus from Psy Games. That was a pretty decent fighting game, so to see all of those characters now in a 3D action game, very Tales of like, I'm interested. I've not been quite sold on the Grand Blue universe yet, but I'm very, very open to it, and this will definitely be one I want to dive into. So eyes peeled on this one. After this, we get another look at Street Fighter 6 coming out extremely soon. What more is there to be said on this one? Ultros is a game that gets shown off. It's coming out next year in 2024. No other date or window beyond that, but this game looked psychedelic, looked absolutely insane. I was interested in this one. It definitely stood out to me because another thing I noticed while watching all these trailers is so many of these games look the same, bro. It's disappointing to see how the creative bar has really risen in some areas, but has lowered dramatically so on the visual side of things, where it's just everyone looks at popular art style. Let's do it. And this game bucks the trend, and it looks wild and different and creepy and psychedelic. As I said, I'm all over it. So that's Ultros. And then after that, we get Tower Fantasy. Speaking of games that look like other games, a very Genshin-like, Honkai Impact-like game here. Gotcha game, of course, not my cup of tea. But then in comes on the white horse, the gold mane, Dragon's Dogma 2. Capcom riding in saying, don't worry, Matty, we got a game for you. I love Dragon's Dogma 1, y'all. Love that game. And Dragon's Dogma 2, I know people are not going to be thrilled when I say this, but I love that it looks like it retains some of that jank, man. Like that game, I just love how it was methodical, because it was, for those who have never played it, an RPG, but Monster Hunter, but kind of open world, but also a survival game. It was a lot of things. And then it had the most unique AI system where you could pretty much create your own companion, and as you explore the world, they learn all these new things, and you could upload them online. Then you could download My Companion, and as you're exploring, they'll call out information in the world to inform you because they have seen it. It's just brilliant, dude. It's brilliant. And I'm so happy they've committed to this one. It looks great. There's a point where you're fighting like a griffin up in the sky. I mean, this game looks dope, and I cannot wait. Unfortunately, no release date. So, but looks awesome. Then we get into Five Nights at Freddy's Help Wanted 2 coming late this year. You're gonna pardon me as I leap over that. And we're gonna do a little bit of quick moving here because now we're into PSVR 2, which, pardon me, very little interest in this, but there was Resident Evil 4 Remake announced to be in development for PSVR 2. Arizona Sunshine is coming this year to PSVR 2, which looks cool. Sorry, the sequel to it, Arizona Sunshine 2. PlayStation joins the Crossfire team. This one was a good one. I got a kick out of this because they probably saw Crossfire X and went, oh shit. And then Crossfire Sierra Squad gets announced for PSVR 2. Look, man, just like Crossfire X, I saw the trailer for this and I went, actually doesn't look bad, especially for VR game. Looks cool, but no one has got Crossfire stamped on it now. Xbox fans know well. They're like, we'll see how it goes. And then Synapse is coming out July 4th. I think this one was already dated, but this is a really good looking PSVR game. And then there's a Queen pack for Beat Saber coming to PSVR 2. So quick section for PSVR 2, which is fine. That's something they're focusing on. I'm glad they're supporting it because I know the sales have been kind of soft on the hardware front, but a lot of people are looking for the killer app, so to say, not like the old console game that just came out a couple months ago that's in development for VR 2. Like some people were holding out hope for Half-Life Alyx, and that's going to be tough to extract. If PlayStation can pull that off, it'll help them out a ton. Marathon by Bungie. So Bungie announced their next game. Bungie had a good presence here, which is cool to see because they are owned by PlayStation, so this is beneficial to them. But Marathon, turns out it's an older IP, and this has like arena shooter vibes, so I don't know if you would qualify it as a remake, but this is their other thing next to Destiny, which is, for me, nice to see because I've been trying to get into Destiny. I love the gunplay. I'm interested in the world, and I'm gonna stick with it a little bit, but more like I'm gonna be that dude who plays the expansion and all right, I'm out. Because just as a new player, the onboarding experience for that game is awful. Because I look at something like Marathon, I go, okay, I can get my Bungie fix maybe. with something that doesn't require me being absurdly confused to play. Wonderful. But yeah, not much to take away from this one. Just cool to see Bungie's working on something else. And then for those of you out there who love Destiny 2, they teased some stuff coming in August for the final shape, which seems to be the end of the MCU-like storyline ongoing. I'm sorry if that's a horrible comparison, but that's how it's been described to me multiple times. Like, this is your end game type moment. And so Cade 6 is back. This is why I want to understand the story, because I see that and I'm like, well, I would love the announcement to be, hey, we're taking everything out of the vault so you can understand what's going on, because we killed this dude in a trailer, and I don't even know if the expansion's available. The base game story's not even in there anymore. So, sorry, I don't mean to rant. I promise you, I'm not negative. I see stuff like this and I'm like, okay, Cade 6 is back. What? How? Why? But I'm interested. Good job on that, Bungie. After that, we see Conquered from Firewalk, another new first-party studio with their game coming in 2024. Another example of what was that? I don't know. I couldn't tell you. We barely even got a release window. I don't have a clue what the game is. It gave me Xbox third-party showcase vibes. It really did. I was just like sitting there like, WTF the whole time. Gran Turismo got a movie trailer. This is when immediately like the heart sank. You're like, dog, what are we doing at the end of this showcase? Because time's a ticking. We're in like the 10-minute range and we get a Gran Turismo trailer. Oh my God. So then it's time for the finale. So after this movie trailer, imagine that you see a movie trailer and a games showcase and you're like, all right, what's next? And all of a sudden you see Jim Ryan's mug and you're like, oh no. He goes, I hope you've enjoyed our look at all these PlayStation games. Before we get into our final game, I'm like, final game? It doesn't even feel like the dang showcase started in a lot of ways. What? He shows off two things. We don't get the detachable PS5 drive that we were hearing about. We don't get a Pro model, but the Q Lite is revealed as Project Q. It's in development and they'll have more to share later this year. It is literally the two sides. I mean, it's kind of nasty looking. It's the two sides of the DualSense slotted onto what looks like a tablet. I'm there for it. I want a dedicated PS5 streaming device because after making the Logitech G Cloud my dedicated Xbox handheld, I don't really have that option on my PlayStation 5. And there are games like Octopath 2. I'd love to have that where I can collect trophies but play on the go around my house. So I am super, super, super about this. I'm very interested to learn more. And then out of nowhere, they're like, here's some earbuds. Okay. So that's the tech side. And now it's time for the final game. So a lot of us all knew this had to be a guarantee. But again, you want to talk about they had us in the first half. When I see the woods, right? You're in a forest. I'm thinking, no, this isn't Spider-Man 2. So is there no Spider-Man? What's going on? Like, I'm ready for Twitter to explode, man, because I'm thinking if no Spider-Man 2 is here after all of this, I'm telling you, this game was the perfect one to conclude with. Because if Spider-Man 2 was not at the end of this, not just by presence alone, but if it didn't look as absolutely fan-frickin-tastic as it did, oh, the conversation online would be dire right now for PlayStation. Spider-Man 2 coming fall this year looks masterful, dude. When I heard that Sasuke Uchiha like Yuri Lowenthal in the symbiote suit, I popped. I was like, yo, that's my Yuri Lowenthal. That's the dude I grew up with. And showing that angry Spider-Man and then switching to Miles like your boy predicted. Not really the craziest prediction I've made, but like it felt good to get one right. Like I said, yo, they're going to definitely do this almost GTA 5 style thing where you can swap between them. And lo and behold, they did. The mission had such a masterful mix of the cinematics of, you know what PlayStation's shooting for, that almost movie-like feel, while still being a video game where you saw Peter Parker in a symbiote suit, like whipping a dude against the wall. I love that Kraven the Hunter is the main villain, it looks like here. That is a great choice. And Insomniac, like, God bless you guys. I'd kiss your feet if I could right now, man, because I love the villain choice. Like, Mr. Negative was such an out-of-nowhere villain, but they did a wonderful job. And of course, they subverted our expectations. I feel like they're doing it again. Seeing Kraven the Hunter being one of the forward-facing villains is so cool, because for me, like, I remember him from the missions in the Raimi Spider-Man games, and that's it. That is it. Like, when you open up Spider-Man Shattered Dimensions, the first level, there's Kraven. Like, he was always the sideshow for the games. To see him be in one of the main focal points, at least, aside from Venom. Oh my gosh, dude. Really, really thrilled about that because he breaks a dude's neck. I'm thinking, there we go. And then when you see Miles crawling around this abandoned looking building, and he sees like some of the skin has been shed of this creature. He's like, confirmed, like, what's going on here? There was some creepy vibes. There was much more mature. We even saw, granted it was a bunch of fish, but we saw blood all over the floor. I love what they're doing with this game, man. As a Spider-Man fan, all of my life, Insomniac, you are doing God's work right now with this franchise. But it is absolutely the showcase saver because without this would have been terrible. And oh, don't even get me started if this was an Xbox showcase. I don't mean to give you that whataboutism. I'm not about that energy, but we gotta talk facts. If this was an Xbox showcase, holy shit, it would have been a nightmare on Twitter. Even if this is like if Starfield was the only amazing thing they showed in a showcase of mid. Oh man. Fortunately, there were a couple of diamonds in the rough here, but this showcase to me was a pretty big miss. I'm really shocked that they blew the opportunity here and put on a showcase with a lot of CG. But anyway, ladies and gentlemen, that is everything in this year's PlayStation Showcase. And hopefully if PlayStation takes until now, 2025, to come back around, that they come around strong because this had a good showing of Spider-Man, but they could have, in my opinion, done a state of play with Spider-Man 2, and that would be fine with me. I think that would have worked fine for everybody. Maybe that with Bungie and some of the Q Light stuff, and that would have been a totally different conversation, right? Imagine that. Like, we got Final Fantasy 16, the things they have marketing rights for. 16, you got things like Street Fighter, you got the Q Light, the earbuds, Spider-Man, Bungie. Ship it. That's it. Didn't need to be more, in my opinion, but I digress, ladies and gentlemen. What do you think of the showcase? Please fire away. Other than that, follow me on Twitter, follow me on Instagram. Those links are in the description down below. And a big thank you to all the patrons, all the members who continue to support the hell out of the content here. Stay sexy, stay active. I love you all. Peace.